Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. And once again, my desk area here is kind of full of stuff, but it won't be for very long. What we're going to do today is we are going to be trying out the Istoyo. They needed to come up with an easier name for me. Debubbling machine. It sort of reminds me of the eye candy. I love eye candy. I love the colors and everything. It's the words or the names they come up with for some stuff. And it's just like, Istoyo. You know what I mean. Anyways, it'll be in the description below as to the name of the company, and I'm sure you know it. Anyway, I chuckle when I can't pronounce certain words. Before we get into actually working with this, and I wanted to show you sort of what we're going to be doing, and then we'll get to working with the actual debubbler. I thought it would be interesting or easier to just sort of take you through my colors, what I'm doing, and then we'll start talking about that. We're going to be doing this butterfly. It's a mold I've never done before. And again, it's one of those molds I've had for a while, and I just haven't done anything with it. I have a bunch of different Recollections mica powders that I picked up at Michael's. I don't believe they're carrying these in Michael's anymore. They are actually, that is a lie. They do, but it depends on the store, and being in Canada, it varies from store to store. I don't know what it's like in the States, but up here in Canada, it varies. And I have had these for a very long time. The colors we are working with within this butterfly where's the colors? I know they've got bronze for the antennas, and I haven't done a super fantastic job. I'm okay with there being a little bit of splotchiness with it. I don't need it perfect. So we have bronze. We have leaf green, red blue, dark blue, grape. It says grape raisin. I'm thinking, yeah, the raisin is the French, and I'm probably not even saying that correctly. And turquoise, which is interesting. Turquoise must be turquoise in French. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm just going back and seeing, because some of these don't have another word below, so I'm guessing that it's the same in both English and French, but maybe with a bit of a dialect to it or an accent to it. You'd think, you know, it's interesting. I took French for a little bit in public school and high school. I am sorry that I never fully learned the language, because I think it is a beautiful language, French. It wasn't something I was able to pick up easily, and I just took it because it was something I had to take. Okay, enough about my French-English background. Okay, the butterfly. That's what we're doing. I've put in my mica powders, as you can see, because that's not something you needed to watch me do. The other thing I want to do with this, once we've, got our resin, is, so I've got these colors. These are a glitter by Recollections as well. And it just says Shred Glitter Set. I want to use these in the resin because I like the colors. I think they'll blend nicely with this. And I would actually like to make them float in here. So we may be adding glue to our resin just so I can get this floating, because I thought, well, if I just sort of drop it in, I'm not sure where it's going to end up. So we're going to have to play with that a little bit. But because I had so many colors, I wanted to show you what I was doing first, and then I could just get these completely out of the way and not have them interrupt what we're doing. Alrighty. So butterfly, we'll think about how we're going to use this glitter, because I think it'd look really nice within the resin and in this piece. Put you over there. Now let's talk about the debubbler. So last year, and I can say that now, being that we're in February, last year I had been talking about wanting to get a debubbler, because in the wintertime especially, it is a challenge for me to have my resin. I never expect to have my resin to be completely bubble free. And when I'm watching videos, I don't really think anyone gets it completely bubble free. However, you can have massive bubbles or you can have micro bubbles. And I sort of look at these machines as being that way of getting you down to a micro bubble. All right. Obviously, this is out of the box. My box I've been keeping for a while. Let me grab the box just so you can see it. I did get it a while ago, and I've used it a couple of times, and I thought, nope, we need to do a proper video on this in order for me and you to sort of put it through its paces and see how it does. This is the box it came in. All right, it was sealed up, which was brilliant. So I can actually officially get rid of this now. So that's just what the box looks like, and that's what it says on it. So now, thankfully, I can let this go. I should have been holding on to it just so I could share it with you, and now I can get rid of it. It does have, now I'll bring the box back for a second. It does have this on the side of it about the one-click operation and the release valve on this. So there's that. Are there any other pictures? It just says, say goodbye to bubbles, then meet perfect DIY crafts. And that's it. Okay, we're good now. So what all did I get with this? Well, this is what it looks like on the top. And as I say, we have our on-off button here, and we have our release button here. It is, you use a USB cable with it. Actually, I kind of like the little hearts that are at the top here too. They're cute. Again, the small things. You get 4 glasses with these. These are plastic, and I know other people have mentioned that it's best to use plastic in these, not a silicone mold, because I guess the silicone maybe can, like, I mean, these are pretty flimsy, so it may just pull these in. I don't know. I'm not willing to try. I figured they sent you these glasses, use these, so I don't want to not use them. And then this is a little challenging with one hand to get off. I will admit that. I find that's a little bit of a challenge, and maybe I'm just not doing it right. Instead of pulling it up like this when it's down, I should really pull it up from the sides. These might be nicer if these were a little bit bigger on it, but I mean, that's something I'll get used to. Again, I've only used it a couple of times. It does have quite a bit of space in here. I'm not sure if we can get all 4 of these in. So let's see. Maybe that's why they gave 4, is because they knew 4. So there you go. All 4 would fit in. So depending on how much you have from a resin perspective. With what I've seen other people use and do with these, they've filled these types of glasses about halfway full in order to give the rest of the room for the bubbles so it doesn't overflow. I have also seen some people put a silicone mat in the bottom of these just in case there is any kind of overflow. And I have, I have this piece of silicone mat that I could technically put in the bottom of it if I wanted to. So I might do that at some point. I haven't done it yet. So we can get the 4 cups in, fill them half full. So we will go through the directions though, to make sure that what I am saying matches with what. So heavy duty plastic, made in China, max 2,000 mils. So I'm guessing the 2,000 mils refers to what would actually hold this. I don't really know the concept behind telling me that, but maybe they have to. Oh, right. Now, let's just put this back on here. Put that back on securely, and let's look at the user manual. All right. I will take you through this just so you are aware of what it says. Experience bubble-free resin to create effortlessly with resin bubble removal machinery. Okay. In a matter of 5 to 8 minutes, it effectively eliminates bubbles, leaving your resin products with a flawless finish. Designed for seamless usability, elevate the quality of your resin creations with Istoyo Resin Bubble Remover. Now, I am trying to think if I had put, the one time I had done it, I'm trying to think if I did it twice. because the 5 to 8 minutes, and if I'm not mistaken, you have to shut this off. It doesn't shut itself off, but let's keep going. See how often I've used this? So this is why this is a really good video for you to see how it works. Place the resin cup in and close the lid securely. Plug and play. Red indicator lights up constantly once power connected. Press the on button. The indicator light will turn green after a few seconds, and it says it'll take about 5 to 8 minutes to complete. Then press the release and wait 30 seconds for the pressure to completely release. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when I used this, I actually turned it off and then hit the release button. I believe that's how I did it, because I thought, well, if you're done using it, you should really be turning it off and then hit the release button. Firmly grip the machine and slowly lift the lid. So they are doing it down here. They are lifting it up on the sides versus what I was doing. So follow the instructions. Always best to follow the manufacturer instructions. I will say that. If there are small bubbles on the surface of the resin, please use a heat gun to remove them. So I do have my heat gun off to the side here. Resin selection. Choose deep casting or regular resin. Fast drying resins may affect bubble removal due to their curing speed and viscosity, so they're not recommending that. Resin mixing. Ensure the resin mixed fully without streaks or threads before vacuuming, which makes sense, and we should be doing that anyway. Resin temperature. Okay, resin temperature. If the temperature is too low, heat the resin to between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit for effective bubble removal. Please do not place the resin container on the vent. So this, they don't want you putting a cup up here. Take out the resin. Make sure the pressure has been completely released, and we'll go through that. Hold the machine securely and slowly lift the lid using both thumbs to prevent resin spills. So me trying to do it like this, wrong. Do it at the sides. And it may take a little bit of, work, but if you do it at the sides too, you can have some of your hand on either side, so you have more control of it. Clean up, clean up spills. Promptly clean resin spills in case resin cured, and it will be difficult. Yeah, so basically, if you spill any on the inside, clean it up straight away. Okay, Q&A. Can you place the cured resin in the machine for bubble remover? No, cured resin will not work. It is recommended to choose deep casting or regular resin. Why does bubble removal fail? Try to extend the bubble removal time, which makes total sense to me. To check if the machine functions properly and if the air cannot be evacuated properly, the indicator light will turn red after a few seconds. Okay, the question was, why does bubble removal fail? To check the machine. Okay, I'm just sort of reading through that. Sometimes when I read things, they don't just, the way they've worded the answer doesn't really work. Fast drying resin or low resin temperature can affect the degassing efficiency. Why the button light up after the machine has been running for a few minutes? Okay, the Ara bubble remover machine is equipped with a pressure sensor. When the interval vacuum level reaches minus 90 kilopascals, the on-off button will light up in green and activate a 10-minute timer. And I've heard people talk about that too. This 90 kilopascals, I can't explain that one to you. I can't. So I'm not even going to try. And they have some tips and tricks and where you can go to get more information. And I should be registering this, and I have not done that yet, so I'll have to do that. All right, put that off to the side. Here is our cord. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to plug this in. I do not have my resin made up, so I'm going to have to get that all organized. I am going to be using the Istoyo mixer because I want to not introduce a ton of bubbles, but I want to put this through its paces, which I should be doing for you. All right, so this just plugs in the top. And when we are ready to use this, then I will have it all organized. I'll get my resin all mixed up. I'll show it to you before we put it in here. We'll separate it out. I'm making about 100 mil. I'm going to separate it into two containers because I think 100 in here. Honestly, I don't know how much one of these can hold. I'm guessing about 8 ounces, give or take. So 100 mil. Well, I might get it in one. I might. These hold 8 ounces. Anyway, I'll figure that out before I bring you back. Anyway, that is where we are starting. I'm going to get the resin up and going. Okay, I have my resin mixed up. I've actually put it into 2 cups. I've had to adjust my camera right down in order to be able to see what's going to happen next. I put it into 2 cups. I was going to just leave it in one, and I thought, no, just because, don't. Do I have 1,000,001 bubbles in there? Well, I don't know, short of counting them, but I'm hoping you can see maybe. There are bubbles in there. They're not huge, massive bubbles, but there are bubbles in there. Okay, that's the first cup. And I don't know how best to show you, so I'll tip it like that on this one. I don't know if that makes any difference. Or like that. It's hard to see, I get that. Yeah, I don't know what the best way is to show you, but there are bubbles in here, okay? But not massive. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid off now the way we're supposed to, with our hands at the side. I'm going to put that just down like that. We're going to put these 2 in here. I'm hoping I'm going to have that turned so you can actually see what's going on. This is going to run. I'm going to just let it run and we'll watch it go through. You may, I still don't know how to do the fast forward in the computer program I use for these videos. If you don't want to sit here and watch this, I totally get that. Fast forward through it, okay? I want to get my light down a little bit more. I don't know if that's going to help any. We're going to look at the instruction manual so we get this right. Let's plug this puppy in. Plugged in. All right. And it's beeped. Okay. So we're going to turn the light, the power on. And I'm waiting for the light to go green, and I take my finger off. It is loud, and let's watch and see what it does. I would turn it for you, but if I do that, the indent's on the side here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see. So I'm really hoping that you're capturing this. And we'll see what it does. I may rotate it a little bit for you. And you may have to turn your volume down on this as well, on this video. But let's watch it go. I talked to you during this, but I really don't want to have to talk over the machine. Okay, so I just looked at the time on my computer. It's probably been going for a minute now. I don't know whether you can notice or not, but it does have sort of more bubbles showing up in it and coming up to the top now. I really hope you're getting the visual on the camera. trying to see if I can get my light in a better position for you to see. I don't think that's helping you any. Hopefully you can see that. Either I can turn my... Oops. Does that help you any? Well, that might make it a little bit better, eh? To have a professional who knew what they were doing with the camera and the lighting, eh? Yeah, I think that makes it a little bit better for you. I kind of wish the bottom of this was flat. It's got a bit of a curvature to it, and I think if it were flat, it would be better. At least you should be able to see there's more bubbles in it now, working their way to the top, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. As much as I couldn't see a whole ton of bubbles in it, maybe there were more bubbles than I could make out. Or is the machine making some of those bubbles? That I don't know. So we've probably been going for about 3 minutes now. I figure I might as well clean stuff up while that's making all its noise. So we've probably been going about 5 minutes now. My dog is going a little crazy. I can still see bubbles rising up from the bottom, more so in the cup that you can't see. But it is definitely bringing them up, which is what we want. So we're at about 7 minutes now. And we're at approximately 8 minutes now. I'm going to let it go for about another minute, and then we're going to see how it looks. Because we'll let the air out of the chamber and see how it goes. Because I don't know how long we'd have to actually let this sit and go. And release. All right, I think we've got all the air out of that. We will unplug this. Unplug. Get everything out of the way. Try not to knock anything open. If you're hearing loud panting, that would be my puppy dog. She's not appreciating me right now at all and wants full attention on her. Oops. Okay, so even though I've got my hands on the side, do like hold on to the plastic as well as the container. It's like hold on to the container, not just the lid. All right, let's get these out of here. Let's get that off to the side someplace safely. Let's do this here. And let me get this back up over here a little bit. I want you to be able to see, and then I'm going to lift my camera up. Okay, so they said to use the heat gun. So just give me a second. I'm all tangled up over here. And we'll just get rid of any last sort of bubbles that are on the side of the cup. I want to be really careful because I don't want to melt these cups. I don't know if you can just get replacement cups or not. So I'm very gentle with my cups. All right. So that's that there. Now, there are still some lingering bubbles in this. I'm really hoping you can see this. It is clear. I wouldn't say we're perfectly out of no bubbles. I don't think I would ever want to say that I have absolutely no bubbles in there. Let me put my other glasses on. The ones that'll really tell me. I've got a fleck of something in there. I still have bubbles in here. You know, this is not 100% bubble free, but it definitely is a lot better than it was. For sure. I can honestly say that. I just wouldn't say it's, 100% bubble free. Okay. Now what we're going to do is try and get some semblance of order back here. So I'm going to lift my camera up. So if you get jiggled around, that is why that is happening. Let's get this back up so you can see my table again. So there we are. Let me just adjust things here. We're back. Hopefully, I want to see where my hands are. You can see this one, you can't see this one, and I know why. So bear with me as I adjust you. Somehow, I got to get this back down. There we go. Thank you for your patience as I adjust everything back to where I need it to be. Okay. There we have it. So I apologize for the noise. I apologize for the flicking around of things, but we needed to see this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the butterfly back. I did bang it out on a paper towel to get rid of any, sort of wandering flakes in here. We are going to put our resin in here now because I do want to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the flakes into the resin. So we've done our due diligence now. We've tested the machine. You can see it's much clearer. There are bubbles in it. Again, I don't think you'll ever get all the bubbles out of it, but it is much clearer. For sure. Okay. So let me carefully pour this in down the sides. I usually like to do it down the sides so that it, has less room to sort of bump around in. So we'll get these both poured. I see a bubble there. But again, it's better. I would like to know if any of you do have a bubble remover. Have you ever gotten every single bubble out of it? Because I don't think you can. I think you can get it a lot better than not doing this, but I don't think you could ever find one that's going to remove 100% of the bubbles. And then I think to myself, one of the tests that I will run at some point is to add some mica powders or something to my resin and then put it in the bubble machine, because I've seen people do that as well. And we'll see how that goes, but you won't be able to see whether there are bubbles in it or not just because of the coloring in it. So there's that aspect of it as well. Get the rest of my resin out. I don't want to lose. So even by using my stick now, you reintroduce bubbles. So I'm not, again, I like that it's clear for sure, but I'm still not sure you can ever really get rid of all your bubbles. That's all I'm saying. I have to make sure I get these cleaned out really well once I'm done with this project. Off camera, of course. All right. My dog settled down a bit. Do the whole 100 in one of these cups, but I didn't want to risk it. So I think if you're questioning whether or not you should do, 100 plus more in a cup, I would definitely have something maybe down in the bottom of it so that you can clean it up easy in the event that it does decide to go over as it's doing its bubble removal. So we did about 8 or 9 minutes. It doesn't automatically shut off. Not that I'm aware of anyway. I'm pretty sure the one time I went over 10 minutes with it. I wish I'd had my timer on, but I didn't. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some of these. And I think I will put a bit of glue in with this. So let's get some of these in. Do some pink. So as I say, I know I'm going to be introducing bubbles to this now, but hopefully not a lot. And I'll do it very carefully. It almost looks the same color, eh? I almost wish they had these that you could get it out with a spoon or something. You can never have too much glitz and glitter and things. Well, I can anyway. Why not? Don't put that there. All right, so we'll very carefully mix this in. I seriously don't feel like I've got enough in here. And I guess if we put some glue in it, that will definitely help with the levitation of it, right? Okay, I'm going to put some more in. If anyone's got a trick for getting this stuff out easily, I'm getting a piece of tape, I don't know what that is. It was on my hand, a plastic of some sort. And let's get some more green in that. Okay, I don't think I'm going to put any more in this. And I've been doing this gentle. I haven't been doing this stirring like crazy. Let's get a drop in there anyway, because I do want it to be suspended. I can see bubbles. I can see bubbles coming up and them popping themselves. That's probably more than enough in there. A little bit more than I wanted in there. And I'll do the antennas first because those are going to be the tricky part with the glue being in here. And I'm curious too to know if some of these glues work differently depending on like the brand you're using. I definitely have a lot in there, and I may have too much in there now. It's kind of thick, right? Okay. Might have overdone it on the glue. Oops. Don't knock over, Natalie. That's the last thing you want to do. So let's get this in the center so we can hopefully get it up into. Now I can see bubbles from pouring this. Yeah, I do have bubbles in this now. Yeah, and I think I put too much glue in this. Oh, this is going to be cute. See how this works out for me, eh? Too funny. I did not think that glue would do that much to this resin. So it's sort of, oh wow, this is insane. Okay, so please note that the resin, before I started messing around with it, was pretty much clear. Yours truly has just sort of made a mess of things. So We'll put that blame squarely on my shoulders. Okay, I want to just do this for a second because I want to put that over there, and I want my dotting tool because I want to get this going down into the antenna. Yeah, see, I've got way too much glue in this. Don't do that. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge in 3/4 getting this into the antenna. I know that. Maybe this kind of idea is really only best when you're dealing with something that doesn't have these kind of spots in it. Because yeah, this I think has got too much glue in it. As you can see by, you know, how it's pulling out. I'll use my heating tool to maybe move this along and sort of get it in where it needs to go. And I'll bounce the mold up and down a little bit. But I have bubbles in this now, which has nothing to do with the bubble remover. This is strictly a me thing now. Let's get the rest of this resin in here. And we'll do it so you can see. So I'm going to have to pay attention to this in order to sort of ensure that I don't have any massive bubbles in this. Let's get the rest of this resin out of here so we don't waste any. Hopefully it'll look pretty when it's done though, as much as I'm introducing bubbles to this. Okay, that's enough resin out of that, I think. That last little bit out of there. All right, let's throw that upside down. All the difference that's going to make in my world. All right, so I'll go over it, and as much as we're not going to get a proper view of this once we take it out of the mold, which again, my doing, but you got to see it in the process of having the bubble remover machine working. We were able to see, and I was able to see, that we started out with more bubbles than we ended up with, which is brilliant. We have too much glue in this, which is not brilliant, and that's all my doing. I let it take too much in here. Let go. Do you know when you have too much glue? That's when you know. When you can't get to let go of the dotting tool. All right, so that's how we look right now. Let me get this light seriously up and out of the way. And up like that, where it should be. And that's what we're looking at like right now. And I will clean up and we'll see how this looks when it's time to take it out of the mold. We get to take the butterfly out of its mold now. So I'm just going to put my fancy pink glove on. So this is how it's looking in the mold. I did go over it with my long net lighter, and I did use a little bit of spray alcohol on it. As I mentioned, and any of the bubbles that are in this now, those are strictly because of what I mixed into the resin and the glue. Right? So the debubbler worked, and it worked fine. It's just me adding stuff in afterwards. So at some point I'll do resin where I've put in a product like the shredded glitter in with, or whatever it is, and then put it into the debubbler. I just wanted to do it this time without putting it into, you know, the debubbler, because you wouldn't be able to see, and that's not really helpful. You need to be able to see what the piece is going to look like, or not what the piece, what the resin's going to look like when it first comes out of the bubble remover machine. So you got to see it go in with some bubbles. Hopefully those showed up on the camera, and then see the bubbles. Again, hopefully my camera picked that up to give you an idea of how they work. And I know there are different brands out there that people are using. This is the only one I have, so I have nothing to compare this against. But I'm sure they work similarly. Anyway. So yes, I do have some air bubbles. I knew I was going to have one at the end of this antennae. And I knew too, like, so these molds as well, when they've got these, I don't know what you want to call the design in it, that the resin sometimes gets stuck in corners and whatnot, and that has happened here. Now, in just having a look at it, it doesn't look too bad. I did work on trying to pull some of them up. It's a matte finish, which well, it's got a bit of a gloss, but it's got a bit of a matte look to it as well. And I know this is going to have to set up a little bit more, but I wanted to lift it up for you. So depending on where this were put, it looked kind of cool just because you can see the flecks of the glitter through it. So I want to work on getting this out too much so you can see it. See if that helps a little bit. Okay, and then we'll just flip it over. And this is what the other side looked like. It's like, where do you put it so that you get the best view of it? Okay. Anyway, that is our butterfly. That is our official review of the Istoyo. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, a review of their bubble remover. And I will probably be using it in the future. And when I do, I'll be doing at some point. I may show you how that looks going through the bubble remover. But at least now you have a review of that one, because I don't know that I've seen anyone do it on that one. So just if you're interested in one, now you've got another viewpoint on it. Thank you for watching, commenting. I look forward to sharing my next video with you. I hope you have a great day. Take care, and bye for now.